관악구 신림동 B103 방공호입니다. 생존자 있으면 대답하십시오. 내 앞에 펼쳐질 눈부신 세상 그래 자유가 넘치는 세상.
The Korean wave is drawing more fans from all over the world. Local consumer prices continue to hover at the 2% since rate in April. Turning to robots to allow the visually impaired the chance to better indulge in cultural experiences. Like the number of hybrid cars are registered in South Korea has surpassed 2 million with this locally developed Yuri rocket.
Arirang.
Hello and welcome to our morning edition of Arirang News. We begin with these stories making the headlines at this hour. South Korea has signed a major arms deal with Peru to export nearly 195 K2 tanks. This is set to become Korea's largest ever defense export deal with Latin America. Following a massive data breach at Coupang, South Korean police searched the headquarters of the e-commerce giant as they continue to track down the suspect behind the leak to check for possible lapses in Coupang security. U.S. President Donald Trump graded his administration high marks on the economy ahead of the Fed's decision on key interest rates, and as he prepares for a trip to Pennsylvania to highlight his efforts to bring down inflation. We begin this morning with South Korea's defense exports, which are now expanding into Latin America. Korea has sealed a landmark agreement with Peru to sell 195 K2 tanks, a deal that Seoul expects will become its largest ever defense export to the region, marking a milestone for the K2 tanks' global reach. Our Pyongyang starts us off.
South Korea is poised to make a significant breakthrough in the Latin American defense market after Peru agreed to procure nearly 200 units of Korean-made ground vehicles. According to the presidential office, the Peruvian army will receive 54 K2 main battle tanks and 141 wheeled armored vehicles under a comprehensive agreement signed with Korean defense firms and Peru's state-run enterprise. While final contract negotiations are still underway, officials say the deal is expected to become the largest Korean defense export to Latin America and the first entry of the K2 tank into the region. The K2 has already strengthened its international standing through multi-billion-dollar supply contracts with Poland and performance demonstrations across Europe. National security officials say the Peru deal represents a pivotal step towards expanding Seoul's global defense footprint.
K-Defense is laying the foundation to become one of the world's top 4 global defense powers. We are launching a presidential-level control tower to drive these efforts forward.
President Lee Jae-myung welcomed the development, expressing hope that the agreement will elevate bilateral defense cooperation and lead to a sustainable, mutually beneficial partnership. If the export proceeds smoothly, Seoul expects the deal to serve as a foothold for expanding Korean defense exports across the wider Latin American market. Pyongyang, Arirang News.
Police searched the headquarters of e-commerce giant Coupang Incorporated following a massive breach of personal information. A related committee looking into the case will summon Coupang founder and chairman Kim Bum-seok as a key witness for a hearing next Wednesday. Our Cha Yun-kyung has more.
Police searched the headquarters of e-commerce giant Coupang Incorporated on Tuesday over a massive breach of personal information that affected around 34 million people. The Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency's cyber investigation team sent 17 officers to the company's headquarters in southern Seoul to search for internal documents and records related to the breach. Police have reportedly been tracking down the suspect behind the leak to check for possible lapses in Coupang security after securing the Internet Protocol address and server logs that were used. There's a possibility that the search and seizure might take more than a day due to the amount of information stolen. The National Assembly Science, ICT, Broadcasting, and Communications Committee will summon Coupang founder and chairman Kim Bum-seok as a key witness at a hearing on December 17th into his company's massive personal data breach. A total of 10 people will be summoned for the hearing, including Coupang executives Kim, CEO Park Dae-jun, and expert witnesses. Kim did not appear at a related inquiry held at the National Assembly on the 2nd and 3rd, so it is still uncertain whether he will attend the upcoming hearing. Meanwhile, Daeryun, a South Korean law firm, has officially announced plans to file a lawsuit against Coupang in a U.S. federal court along with its U.S. branch, SJKP, during a press conference held in New York City on Monday local time. The firm said it has already secured over 200 plaintiffs and intends to pursue simultaneous litigation in both South Korea and the United States. 차윤경, Arirang News.
And over in the United States, President Donald Trump has given himself a high grade for the country's economy under his second administration. The remarks come as the U.S. leader is preparing a trip to Pennsylvania to highlight his efforts to bring down inflation and ahead of the central bank's decision on interest rates. Our Lee Seung-jae has more.
U.S. President Donald Trump has given the U.S. economy under his second administration what he calls an A+++++ grade as he prepares for a trip to Pennsylvania to highlight his efforts to bring down inflation. The comments came during an interview with Politico on Monday, where Trump defended his record on prices and pushed back against concerns from some supporters who believe the cost of goods remains too high. Trump argued that he inherited what he described as a total mess, claiming prices were already at historic highs when he took office. He insisted that costs are now easing, pointing specifically to energy prices. The remarks come as the president heads to Scranton, Pennsylvania on Tuesday for an event focused on affordability, an issue central to his 2024 campaign. Trump won the election on promises to bring relief to households struggling with rising expenses, yet his administration has faced ongoing frustration from Americans who say that many prices remain elevated. Trump has blamed the Biden administration for the high costs and has dismissed Democratic arguments on affordability as a hoax and a con job. Trump has attempted to curb prices in part by removing tariffs on a range of products in recent months, a move officials say is aimed at lowering costs for consumers. The comments also come as the U.S. Fed is set to make its last rate decision of 2025. As Trump travels to Pennsylvania, the White House is expected to continue framing inflation and affordability as top priorities, even as public opinion shows divided views on the pace of improvement. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
And continuing with the U.S. economy, the Fed is now confronting a tough decision on interest rates. With the final meeting of the year slated for Wednesday, eyes are now on the central bank's decision as many expect to see a third interest rate cut. For more on this, we're joined today by Professor Song Soo-young, professor at the College of Business and Economics at Cheonggang University. Professor Song, thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, and good morning to you.
So, although the Fed is so divided, markets are expecting a rate cut, right? Why is the U.S. Central Bank likely to lower rates?
In the past several months, the U.S. has been shut down because of the conflict in the National Assembly. However, recent release of the job openings and the labor turnover by the Labor Department has shown that clearly the U.S. job market is not collapsing, but clearly it is losing steam. So it means that they need to decrease the federal funds rate by as much as 25 basis points. So to that regards, the concern has been put on some labor side. And also in details, the quit rate and the vacancy rate has been steady and remained very low. And even though the job market is slightly recovering in October and November, but still, job market is weak. Therefore, I guess most likely the Federal Reserve Board would like to decrease the interest rate this time by 25 basis points.
I see. And how might the Fed's decision impact the Korean economy and Korea's own decision on its interest rates?
Actually, our Korean economy has been dependent much on some international trade, particularly the export to the United States. That is evident, but recently the exchange rate, particularly the Korean exchange, Korean won against US dollar has been moved, I believe, is quite independent of the fundamental of the economic situation. Just a very transitory and a very temporary cash flow or capital flow out of the Korea and inside into the Korea. That matters a lot. That determines the fluctuation of the volatility of the exchange rate. Therefore, I believe that the decrease of the federal funds rate in the U.S. does not have much impact on Korean economy. But I would like to say the Korean economy should be more concerned about inside the domestic demand and domestic economy much more. So focus on some portfolio diversification of the international trade and reduce our economy's dependence on the reliance on some international trade. That is one way to overcome. And then Bank of Korea should decrease the interest rate by as much as 25 basis points, even though our economy has shown the CPI is very lower. Even the month-on-month consumer price index has been negatively decreased, showed negative numbers. So some price pressure may not be the major threat, but currently, our economy is lackluster of the growth rate. Even though the growth rate of the GDP has shown 1.3%, that is mostly supported by some front loading of the export products to the United States and other countries before the brunt of the tariff uncertainty has been because of the tariff uncertainty. But right now, the uncertainty has been removed. Therefore, our Bank of Korea and our government should focus more on the domestic economic issues.
Right, and staying on that domestic economic issue, the Bank of Korea said it'll purchase 1.5 trillion Korean won. That's around $1 billion worth of government bonds, and this is the first time in 3 years since the pandemic that they're doing this, right? The central bank said this is to better respond to rising interest rate volatility. What's behind this move, and what impact will this have on the market?
Yeah, they have issued a $500 million US dollar and a 10-year bond and a 30-year bonds of $500 billion. So the yield has remained 3.957 percentage points. So that is, I believe it is modest. But thinking about current our economic situation, even though unemployment rate is 2.2%, employment rate has been stabilized around 63.4%. So that implies that our economy needs some, even though unemployment rate is low, but that is primarily due to some old labor workers, temporary job, and some low wage income. So unemployment rate is not some credible indicator rightly describe the current Korean economic situation. So some weakness and the weakening of the purchasing power of the consumers in domestic economy, that is a matter of concern, should be a matter of concern, and it should be put forth to shape up our government policy. So clearly the issuance of the Korean government bond to raise the U.S. dollars is to be used some kind of a preparation for the further depreciation or some kind of a fluctuation, volatility of the exchange rate should be attenuated, mitigated because of these activities. And let me point out the possibility of the involvement of the National Pension Service to have, they have a hedging, try to have a hedging and against Korean won against the dollar, that could help alleviate the burden of the exchange rate. Sudden change could be mitigated.
I see. I guess we'll have to hope that that resolves the current economic issues that we have here in South Korea. All right, Professor Song, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
South Korea added 225,000 jobs in November compared to the same month last year. According to the Ministry of Data and Statistics on Wednesday, the total number of employed people stood at 29.04 million 6,000 last month. The increase was driven by the health and social welfare services sector, which added 281,000 jobs on year. However, key industries continue to show weakness, with employment in the manufacturing sector falling by 41,000 and the construction down by 131,000, marking 17 and 19 consecutive months of job losses, respectively. While the overall employment rate has risen by 0.2 percentage points on year, employment for those aged 15 to 29 dipped by 1.2 percentage points in the same period, losing 177,000 jobs. In other news, interest in the 2026 Pyongyang International Marathon, scheduled for April 5th, appears to be surging quickly. Beijing-based Korea Tours reported that all 500 tour spots sold out in less than 5 hours after sales opened. The agency is trying to secure more slots and is asking runners to join a waiting list. The tour will depart from Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenyang, offering 4 distances from the full 42-kilometer race to shorter 10 and 5-kilometer runs. The event is also open to participants with disabilities, including wheelchair users and visually impaired runners. Korea Tours notes that holders of South Korean, United States, Malaysian, and Japanese passports, along with members of the press, are barred from attending. The race began in 1981 to mark the April 15th birthday of Kim Il-sung. Special exhibitions featuring the artwork of Korean Catholic priest Kim Il-jung, best known for his unique approach to stained glass, are taking place in Seoul until the end of this month. His works have long stood out for their distinct style, setting them apart from traditional stained glass art. Our culture correspondent Park Gun-woo takes us there for a closer look.
Vividly colored paint on glass that seems to tell a story or a poem. This is how Catholic priest and artist Kim Il-jung has worked for decades, using oil pigments and brushes to create colors as radiant and transparent as light itself. His pieces look slightly different from traditional stained glass that's typically assembled by joining small pieces of colored glass together with lead. 2 special exhibitions, Poetry of Light and Light for Life, now running through this Christmas in 2 separate museums in Seoul, offer rare opportunities to appreciate Kim's work close up, including several being shown for the first time. A notable fact is that all the artwork on display is deliberately left untitled for a good reason. Behind me are Kim's latest artworks, which are also left intentionally untitled, allowing each viewer to step in with no preconceptions, just a pure personal encounter with the light and color before them.
I've been going through a dark period, feeling trapped. So I was finding a way to release some of that pressure, and this exhibition helped me out. It reminded me of a crane taking flight, so if I could name the piece, I'd call it Rise.
Although Kim is well known for his works on glass, his artistic practice extends to a variety of media, including canvas. And one remarkable characteristic of his work is the fusion of East and West.
European audiences say his art feels completely different from typical abstract or figurative works. The empty spaces reflect what influenced him since childhood, and he often uses thick calligraphy brushes along with vivid Western-style colors. These elements give his art a truly unique texture.
Kim's works throughout the years have been installed in around 50 cathedrals across Europe, including Chartres Cathedral. Now at 85 years old and living with hearing loss, he continues to work passionately, currently in France and Korea, showing no signs of slowing down. Though his pieces remain untitled, the emotions and reflections they evoke continue to illuminate those who stand before them, and perhaps that in the end is the very title he intended. 박건우, Arirang News.
Good morning, I'm Chu Ji-hyun, and this is The World Now. In Europe, Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelenskyy has again ruled out giving up any territory to Russia, saying he has, quote, no legal or moral right to do so. His comments on Monday came as Ukraine prepares to send a revised peace plan to the White House after weekend talks between U.S. and Ukrainian negotiators produced no agreement. Zelenskyy met UK, French, and German leaders in London in what was widely viewed as a show of support amid concerns that Washington may back a deal requiring major concessions. He said Kiev's updated proposal could be submitted as early as Tuesday. Meanwhile, Russia claims new gains along the Eastern Front, which Ukraine disputes. In The Hague on Tuesday, the International Criminal Court sentenced a Sudanese militia leader to 20 years in prison for war crimes and crimes against humanity committed in Sudan's Darfur region more than 20 years ago. Ali Muhammad Ali Abd al-Laman, also known as Ali Couché, was convicted in October on 27 counts, including murder, torture, and orchestrating rape, with judges saying he personally beat detainees to death with an axe. Prosecutors had sought life sentence, while the defense argued the 76-year-old was misidentified. The ruling concludes the ICC's first trial on the Darfur conflict, which began after militias known as the Janjaweed were mobilized to crush a 2003 rebellion.
This term is proportionate.
In Indonesia, a fire in an office building in Jakarta on Tuesday afternoon killed at least 22 people. Authorities say the blaze began on the first floor of the 7th-floor building after a battery exploded inside a drone company's workspace, sending flames and thick smoke upward. Most victims were women, including one pregnant woman, and police believe they died from smoke inhalation. Firefighters used aerial ladders to rescue trapped workers. In Australia, a social media ban for under-16s has come into effect. The ban blocks under-16s from accessing 10 major platforms, including Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. It took effect at midnight local time on Wednesday. Companies now face fines of $33 million if they fail to remove under-16 accounts. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the law is needed to protect children from predatory algorithms, but tech firms warn it may push teens to unregulated spaces.
It felt chillier this morning, but actually temperatures were a couple of degrees higher than yesterday. Temperatures will sit above the seasonal average with mild westerly winds. Then daytime temperatures will jump nicely, climbing above 10 degrees Celsius in many regions with decent air quality. Seoul will see more clouds rolling in this afternoon with a high of 10 degrees Celsius. Daejeon, Daegu, Gyeongju will be getting up to 12 degrees. Then tomorrow, rain and snow are in the forecast nationwide. Most regions will see 5 to 10 millimeters of rainfall, but snow is expected for the mountainous areas of Gangwon-do province with up to 10 centimeters expected. It is a welcome bit of moisture for the East Coast, where long-lasting dry alerts continue. Then tomorrow's wet weather will bring freezing air to the country on Friday morning, with more wintry precipitation in the forecast across Korea through the weekend.
That's all we have for this morning. Arirang News will be back at noon Korea time. Thanks for watching.
How to survive in Korea. One room. So, you're surviving in Korea if you've signed a contract for a one room. Obviously, you're a pro. But the real deal begins now. Step 1. Housewarming. No need to buy toilet paper, diffusers or hand soap. You'll get them soon enough as housewarming gifts. And some are bound to pile up. There's nothing better to serve your guests than milpaeyu nabe. If you have Korean friends coming over, don't forget the extra garlic. Step 2. Garbage disposal. With great power comes great responsibility. You've had a good time, so let's get to work. It might be tempting to sweep everything into a trash can, but you have to separate your garbage. Not bothered? Beware that negligence is punished with a fine or public humiliation. Step 3. Drying rack. You're excited to live alone in Korea, but the fate of these items, hanger, storage, or a hanger. Go get fresh coffee outside. Jogging doesn't cost anything, and nothing beats instant rice. But keep one item around so that you don't get too lonely. Step 4. Pros of living alone. No mum. Cons of living alone. No mum. A new towel doesn't magically appear. You have to do the laundry regularly. If anyone gives a towel as a souvenir, take it. Get rid of mold immediately. Don't be lazy with the vacuum cleaner. Housework is an endless affair. Overwhelmed? Give your mum a call and thank her for everything she's done. Did you survive in your one room? Wait, you have an unwanted visitor. Call someone you fancy. Could be the right person for the job.
we're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Wednesday, December 10th here in Seoul. I'm Lee Soo-jin, and this is News Generation. Joining us today is Cheska.
Happy Wednesday, everyone.
Happy Wednesday. Also, Wonbin's with us.
Good morning.
Good morning. And both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So we're right in the middle of the week, and somehow 2025 is already coming to an end.
Whoa.
The holidays are just around the corner, and everyone's starting to think about how they want to wrap up the year. So speaking of which, Cheska, do you have any plans for the end of the year?
Yeah, end of year is always special for me, and I have some wonderful things planned. Wow. So one of the things that I always do is I'll be attending a little Christmas dinner with foster care students and self-reliant youth. In Korean, we call them 자립 청소년, the aged out kids. And it kind of aligns with what we'll talk about today. I will also be hosting the end of year festival, but in Incheon. So I will actually be standing on the day of the countdown, which to me I think is very monumental.
It's very cool.
It is, thank you. And lastly, I do this every year. I think I talked about it in the last year's News Gen as well.
I remember.
I will be hosting my PPT event party. So this is, I gather a handful of people, we throw some good food, but each one of us has to come prepared with a PPT presentation of how the year has been. And we go through and we talk about failed relationships, career goals and everything. But the goal is obvious to have fun. But you know how at the start of the year, we always set year resolutions and goals, but we never really think about, well, what happened? So this is a time to sort of go through the things that we're grateful for, some of the things that surprised us.
To look back. Yeah.
Exactly. Like there are many unexpected things that might have happened. And most importantly, what are the lessons can we learn from everything that we went through?
I think it's so important to look back on your year and reflect. And also, when I asked you this question, this is kind of a hard question to answer, I feel like, especially because we're in the middle of December. It's not the end of the year yet. I see your schedule is very packed. And I feel like there's so many questions I want to ask, but hopefully when we have time at the end, I will ask you more about this.
Please do, yes.
Because I know it's kind of hard to follow up on that, but what are your plans?
I'm so excited. Tell me about yours.
I didn't know that we had so much contrast in our life because for me, in the year end, I have three goals. It's to sleep more and to eat more and to work less.
All very important.
Yeah, except for News Gen, because News Gen is not work. It's a gift from me. I love you guys. Too, But normally, I really like the year end, to be honest. I try to be a rational, non-emotional person normally, but you know, I can't help it but to let the warmth of the year end kind of thaw me in December. I have like this small bag of decorations and ornaments in the corner of my closet, and when it becomes December, I slowly pull it out and just like kind of leave it. It's like a small Christmas tree or like small gift boxes.
That's your little warmth coming out.
In my little studio, But other than that, besides me eating hot food a little bit more often than summer, in terms of daily life, there's not much difference for me.
I think it was hard to follow up after Cheska is doing so many diverse things, but people celebrate the end of the year in very different ways.
Exactly. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes.
So we're going to dive deeper into this topic, but first, let's take a look at the screen. While it feels like this year has flown by in the blink of an eye, there's still plenty of time to make the most of what's left. And when it comes to enjoying the holiday season, Seoul is one of the best places to spend Christmas and the final days of the year. But of course, choosing where to go and what to do can be overwhelming with so many events happening all at once. So today on News Generation, we're taking a closer look at the most visited spots among Seoul's many year-end festivals, the events we're personally most excited for, and some tips on how to make the end of the year a little warmer and a lot more joyful. So as we just saw in the videos, Seoul completely transforms during the holidays. There are lights everywhere, giant trees, photo spots on every corner, and the whole city really leans into that year-end magic. So let's start there. It's always hard to know what to do during the holidays. So Cheska, there's so much happening across the city, but what are some of the major holiday events people should know about this year?
And as you mentioned, I think Seoul is more and more each year is really becoming, quote, one of the most beautiful cities to visit during the holidays. So in major spots in Seoul, like Gangnam, Myeongdong, Hongdae, Sinchon, you can see gigantic trees, lights, especially big displays around major department stores. Now, on top of that, Seoul also will be hosting a big annual festival called Seoul Winter Festa. And we prepared a map to show you exactly where to find them. So let's quickly take a look at the screen. Now, we have highlighted some major hotspots for the Winter Festival. Now, this year, it will start from tomorrow, December 12th, Friday, and last till January 4th. The locations are Gwanghwamun, Bojinggak Pavilion, Cheonggyecheon, DDP, and Seoul Plaza. It is simply one of the largest and most festive winter festival, and last year more than 5 million people attended the festival around Seoul. And for those who will be attending the opening ceremony tomorrow, Friday at 7 p.m. in Gwanghwamun Plaza, there is a magical Fantasia light parade that will have global performance teams to musical gala shows that will welcome everyone to Winterfesta Wonderland. So definitely check it out.
I mean, 5 million people last year. That really shows how massive this festival has really become. And as you said, because it's spread across multiple neighborhoods, you can literally feel the holiday atmosphere just by walking around these areas. But I want to know, what's new this year? What kind of events can we look forward to?
Yeah, so something new that we can look forward to is the slogan. So the slogan is Seoul, made by the people of Seoul. So as you can feel and hear from it, there will be many interactive entertainments and activities that we will be able to enjoy and try out ourselves during this year's Seoul Winter Festa. And to go through some examples, first of all, we have a K-pop performance competition. They'll be doing K-pop dances, they'll be singing K-pop songs and more. And here's an interesting one that I find pretty cool. They have a hibernation contest.
Oh,
yeah, hibernation.
I wonder how this works. Like actual sleep.
I actually looked it up. I actually looked it up. So because it's very confusing, right? You basically sign up, and then they have like these little booths set up. You just go in there and sleep. And I don't know what the criteria is for judging who wins. But whoever sleeps the best, apparently.
Or how to judge.
Yeah, whoever sleeps the best wins. So that's pretty interesting.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And for the foreigners, they also have a K-culture corner where you can try the different Korean foods, the K-beauty products, and the clothes as well.
I always love it when they have these interactive activities because you feel really involved and it's easier to get into the Christmas spirit, especially the hibernation thing sounds really interesting.
That sounds fascinating. I would want to go and actually watch.
There's a lot of people that could be really good at it. So now, out of all these festivals and events that are happening, what would you say are the most must-visit spots?
All right, you're all ready. I think we're gonna take our viewers on a pre-magical winter tour.
Ooh, exciting.
Now, the first stop is the heart of Seoul, Gwanghwamun. Now, for Winterfest, the historic gate of Seoul will transform into a massive open-air media canvas with the slogan, Gwanghwa, breathing light. Now picture this, the entire wall with vibrant animations dancing across the gate, colors rippling like waves, and lights breathing life into the centuries of history. And Gwanghwamun won't just breathe light, but this year will beat light. Meaning the people of Seoul will actually get to strike the massive traditional drums that will send laser beams up in the sky, almost like Seoul breathing light into the winter sky. And right next to it, there will be Gwanghwamun Market, designed as a magical Santa village that will almost feel like stepping straight into the Christmas from, one of those fairy tale storybooks with shops, holiday treats, twinkling lights, and my ultimate favorite, they're gonna have a merry-go-round designed with a Rudolph. I think that's gonna complete the magic of the festival. Now let's move on to the Cheonggyecheon Lantern Festival. And there's a reason this has been going on for almost 20 years. Now this year, the festival extends even longer to Uicheon, and it will feature the most beloved exhibition, the one that was actually voted as the, quote, most wanted to see again, which is called Olga-haengyeol, which is called Royal Procession. The entire stream will be filled with figures from Joseon era, almost as if they have been awakened in light form, marching and gliding down the water for the royal procession.
We just saw a lot of the footage from what we can expect, and I have to say the lights are also so mesmerizing.
They're so beautiful.
Right, and seeing like Gwanghwamun turning into a giant media canvas sounds also looks beautiful. And of course, the Lantern Festivals are classics that people do look forward to every year. But I know there are a few more highlights that we probably don't want to miss. So, can you walk us through some of
Take us away.
I got 3 more, not as magical as Jessica's explanations, but we have Seoul Gwangjang, which is the Seoul Plaza. It's near in the City Hall in Ulchido, and they open a ice skating rink from December 19th to February 8th. And every year they do a really good job at decorating the plaza into a, like a year-end movie-like Christmas, Home Alone vibe space, especially at night. So make sure to visit there. We also have the Boshingak, which is the Boshingak Pavilion. If the US has the Times Square countdown, Korea has the Boshingak countdown and the bell ringing ceremony. Now, just like Times Square, people gather up, and at the end of the countdown, we ring the bell 33 times. Now, I did some research, and that 33 times means a significant thing, where it's like if you hit it 33 times, the sky is able to hear the bell. And a dozen of people will participate in actually hitting the bell, including politicians and citizen representatives. And last but not least, we have the DDP SeoulCon, where they will also do a countdown, fireworks, and different other performances.
So I've actually been to the Boshingak Pavilion before. Like 2 years ago, I did the Live Connect. Then I have to say, it's like the energy is great and also really memorable because you're ringing in the new year with a bunch of people, and again, the energy is just amazing. So there's a lot of things to look forward to, like a skating rink, special performances, fireworks, and that, I mean, it covers pretty much the entire holiday season. So we want to know what you think too. So we asked on the Arirang News YouTube channel, where in Seoul is the best place to enjoy the end of year atmosphere? So here's what the results showed. So based on the responses from our viewers, Seoul Plaza and its iconic ice rink came out on top with 56% of the votes. Gwanghwamun Square followed with 22%, while Cheonggyecheon Street received 16%. And finally, Boshingak Pavilion gathered 6% of the responses. So the results actually do make sense. There's something just about the skating under all those lights that makes it feel like the holidays, and also skating rinks are also featured a lot on dramas as well, so I also get the hype with that. So to get another view on what to look forward to, we'll be speaking with a content creator who's familiar with Seoul, and that conversation will come right after the break, so don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search out channel Arirang News. Click Posts and cast your vote in the poll. Make a new type of news with us.
Joining us today, Majid, a YouTuber who creates content on Korea. So hi, Majid. Thank you so much for connecting with us today.
Hi Sujin, hi Michael, and hi Cheska. Good morning, and it's so good to be back here at Arirang. Thank you so much for having me.
Good to have you. Morning. So Majid, so what are your plans for the end of the year, and where will you be spending it?
I guess, Cheska and Michael, they have explained it so well. Like, I guess they know my plans, where I will be spending my New Year's and year end also. So, first of all, like, we saw the report, like Seoul is definitely one of the most prettiest spots to celebrate Christmas and to celebrate the holidays, season. And, everywhere, wherever you go, it's pretty, it's Christmas lights, big Christmas trees and Christmas markets. So everything's really pretty. But for me personally, I have categorized my plans in 3 different categories. First one is fun. So I really want to have fun. And when it comes to fun, I would be, joining the ice rink at Seoul Plaza. And then one thing that we didn't talk about is Tuksam Hangang Park, and they have really a lot of activities, fun activities. They have this, snow tubing, and it's really thrilling and fun. So I will be doing that. And as we were just looking at the year-end Boshinsak, the bell ringing ceremony on 31st, I will be there joining the countdown ceremony over there. So this is the fun part. The second is Christmas markets. So now there are so many Christmas markets in Seoul. I have so many plans, especially going to Dohyundae, Seoul, in Yeouido. It's a really beautiful Christmas market. And then we have a Christmas market in Lotte Tower, which is again very lovely, very pretty. So I will be going over there too. So these are the Christmas markets. And then festivals. So we also, SeoulCon is happening, especially the Seoul Winter Festival is also happening. So there are so many activities. Gwanghwamun Square Market, then the Seoul Light at DDP and Seoul Light at Gwanghwamun. And so So and the Cheonggyecheon, that light festival also. So Lantern Festival. So these are my plans. I will be, so much busy. But after hearing Michael, I really want to join the hibernation contest too, because I really want to relax also, at the end of the year. So these are my plans. Or if Cheska could invite me to her PPT party, I would love to go to your PPT party also, because that's such a cool concept. I never thought about it.
When we need people like you, I will send the invitation personally. All you have to do.
I'm looking forward to that. I feel like it's really fun, to see the whole year, what you did, about your resolutions, what you achieved and what you couldn't achieve. So it's really seems really fun. So,
I'm
yeah.
so
These are my
excited.
plans.
All we need is your honest confession of how the year has been. And you have explained so beautifully, but where in Seoul is the best place to enjoy the holiday in year-end atmosphere that people might not know well about? Yeah.
Oh, actually, that's a really tough question. Like, to pick one spot, because, like I love Seoul and there are so many different spots. Every spot has its own charm, and every spot is really beautiful. If I would to say one, I would say Gwanghwamun Square. So because first of all, the Gwanghwamun Square will have its own Christmas market, and there and it will have a giant tree, and right behind it, at Gyeongbokgung, we will have Seoul Light also. So this is the hub, and right next to Gwanghwamun, you can go to the Lantern Festival at Cheonggyecheon. So if you are coming to Seoul, if those people who are who will be coming to Seoul during Christmas, please make sure to go to Gwanghwamun Square. It has everything, like night Christmas markets, Seoul Light Festival, Cheonggyecheon Lantern Festival, everything is over there. But apart from that, I would say try to go to Lotte Tower also. Lotte Tower probably will have its own countdown, or at COEX they will have their own countdown also. But at least in Lotte Tower, the water lake is really beautiful, and then they have a Christmas market right next to Lotte Tower. It's also very pretty. So these two places I highly recommend people to go.
Well, I gotta say, I'm genuinely astonished by the passion that you have in the Christmas and Seoul. Yeah,
Woman can use a little bit more passion.
I could, yeah.
And it's like we know, it's most beautiful time of the year, and Seoul is definitely becoming a really hot spot for people to celebrate Christmas. And wherever you go, it's Christmas songs, Christmas lights. It's the best time of the year here in Seoul. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really impressive. As a Korean, I would like to thank you. And now, speaking of Koreans, if we change the perspective to foreigners, what are some tips or advice would you give to foreigners who are visiting Seoul during the holiday season?
Oh, okay. Okay, first of all, Seoul definitely, it will look like, you are in a K-drama, especially if it snows. I know everyone would be out, enjoying snow. But after that, Seoul winter, Seoul is pretty in winter, but it could become harsh. So please, wherever you go, always dress warmer, always layer up. It gets colder than you would think. So please dress warmer. Secondly, as we were talking about, as Michael was talking about, hibernation contest, and there is winter food festival also. So there are so many festivals going on, and it's difficult to keep track of everything. So please, if you are in Seoul, or if you are coming to Seoul, and if you also want to have fun, please make sure to go and check out all the websites, the official websites of Seoul City. And as Cheska was talking about Seoul Winter Festival, so please go check out the official website of Seoul Winter Festival, or even SeoulCon. Each festival has a lot of different things. Like, in Seoul Winter Festival, we have, Seoul sleeping contest, and then we even have Seoul winter food, and then K-pop performances, and then DJ, silent DJ festa also. So many things. So please make sure to visit the official websites, and so that you can keep track of all the festivals, their dates, their timings. So these are the second tip. And last is, please make sure to go to Seoul Plaza ice rink. It's really cheap. It's like $1 to $2, and you even get to enjoy ice skating. You get the gloves and helmet and all the gear. So please learn skating, and I will be there also. So if you get to meet me, say hi also. So these are the tips, and I hope all of you will have a beautiful Christmas and a wonderful Happy New Year 2026 in advance.
You know, when people talk about Christmas, they think of, they mention European cities, but talking to you and hearing about your plans, making me feel really excited about spending Christmas here in Seoul.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing your plans today with us.
Thank you so much, Sujin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, and thank you, and Happy New Year to you guys in advance also, and have a wonderful Christmas. Thank you.
You too. Happy early Christmas.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So we just spoke to a content creator who makes videos about life and culture in Korea, sharing his favorite spots and insider tips for enjoying the year-end festives in Seoul. So, Cheska, we talked about a lot of different things that are happening.
Yes.
So which year-end festival or event are you most looking forward to?
And we also learned a lot from this.
We did.
I think I just got a whole full guide.
Me too.
So I have so many, even more, because as I was preparing, I actually researched, and they all looked fantastic. But I definitely want to check out the Gwanghwamun Santa Village, because they have the Rudolph merry-go-round, which I heard is also available for adults. So I'm definitely going on that. But more exciting is they'll be partnering with Lego Company.
Wow.
And build installation of Haechi, which is in K-pop Demon Hunters, for all the fans who've watched it. It's the inspiration animal for Duffy, the cute blue tiger. So you can also see that. And of course, walking alongside magical lights of Cheonggyecheon, because I think they do this once in a couple years. But this time, the annual festa, they just take it to another level. So I just can't miss that.
You did tell us earlier that it's also longer. It goes all the way to Incheon. I feel like the Lantern Festival also is something I actually want to go to as well. Apparently it's happening from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So that's when you can go.
Yes.
So what about you, Wonbin? What are you most looking forward to?
Well, for me, the one thing that I really want to try in person is the Bojingak bell ringing ceremony. It's very popular in Korea. So ever since I was a kid, I used to watch it on TV all the time. But I feel like this year, I would really love to go watch it in person, because next year, I think I would really need that good energy from the 33 times of bell ringing.
The good energy to flow into,
I would definitely need that in person, not from screen. And not to mention the hibernation contest too is another thing. I think it aligns with one of my 3 goals.
It does.
Sleep more. So yeah, that's one thing as well.
So we mentioned a plethora of things to do during the holidays. So while it's important to plan ahead, don't let that stress you out or make you feel like you have to squeeze every moment out of Christmas. And Seoul is doing so much across the city that you can simply step aside and still feel the holiday magic, no heavy planning required. So from light displays to street performance to year-end events, there are countless ways to enjoy the season. And Seoul has something pretty much for everyone this time of the year. So however you choose to spend, we hope you find a little warmth and joy to carry on into the new year. So that brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation. But News Gen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time with more stories and discussions. A big thanks to Cheska.
Pleasure's always mine. Thank you.
And also Wonbin.
Thank you for having me.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope you have the best day. We are News Generation.